I want you to imagine everything that you have ever wanted in life. We always hear about our why. Why do we do what we do? But a lot of us don't think of what do we really want. I am so excited to introduce you to the man who helps you define your why through your what, through personal branding. I am honored to bring an adrenaline junkie, the co-founder and developer of Sims Media, Henry Sims. Welcome to the Abundant Mind Show.
Thank you for having me.
So happy to have you on board, my man. There's a lot of incredible things you guys are doing right now. It probably would be more appropriate to ask, like, what are you not doing? And what pots do you guys not have your hands in right now? We saw that your team was in, Puerto Rico with Steve Sims. We see that you guys are almost everywhere. And to see the names and the groups and the businesses who you guys are behind, putting them in the spotlight is incredible. You hear incredible names, Roland Frazier. You hear, Qasim, one of the top Google ad agencies in the world, that drop your name like it's like it's the most obvious choice in the world, and people say, "Wait, no, who is this?" This is who you guys are, and I love that you guys stand for what you stand for. You're truly authentic to who you are. So I'm happy to have you on today. So I'd like to kind of share who you are and where your upbringing is. You grew up, with Steve Sims and with your incredible mother. You guys have you saw the light of entrepreneurship. You saw the light of that. And most people would think, wow, I mean, this guy's just teed up for success. But what did you end up choosing?
Yeah. You could say I saw the light of entrepreneurship, but I more so saw the darkness of it. As a little kid, you get used to things, and we kind of, a lot of the time pain stands out, and that's what we hook onto, or we use fear as a motivator. And when I was growing up, we had all these great things, and I kind of, being born into that was life. But when I saw the downs of entrepreneurship, that's what really stuck with me, because everything else was the normal. So when I saw the downs and the volatility that comes with entrepreneurship, I was like, why does anyone opt into this? Like, why does anyone want this lifestyle instead of my other friends who had families with great jobs that were consistent, and they were getting the same money each week? They were living life like there didn't seem to be any issues. And so for me, it wasn't necessarily like this quality of life. It was getting rid of issues.
Got it. Wow.
And so for me as a little kid, the world of entrepreneurship did not make sense. And so I really ran away from it. The only thing I saw was those downs. And so I decided I want nothing to do with having a business, being an entrepreneur. It sounds risky and stupid, and which it still kind of is. But I decided to take my analytical mind and go into the field of engineering. And so I pursued that through college, and that kind of was the start of figuring out really where life was going to go, because it didn't quite hit me the way I thought it would.
So let's talk about that. You have a very analytical, very brilliant mind. And, with the analytical mind, it's easy to be able to find, because you're constantly solving problems, right? You're constantly solving your problems, other people's problems, finding solutions. So that makes sense that you would say, you could look at it from just an objective point of view, saying, okay, here's the great side of entrepreneurship, but man, here's the dark, ugly side. These are the problems. It seems like they outweigh. So I'd like to talk about that a little bit. So you being an adrenaline junkie, decided to be an engineer. You went and you had a vision of being able to, just build the world of, motorcycle racing. I mean, you guys have Dakotas, you guys have some incredible bikes, and you decided to chase your passion. You went to school in Oregon, and in school, you started going through that, and you stopped with 1 year left. Let's go back in time to that day, to that year where you said, I've got 1 year left. I'm pursuing what I'm excited about. I'm pursuing what, gives me adrenaline and what I really love. But what
Mhm.
literally happened that day? What clicked for you that made you decide that that wasn't the right goal for you or the option for you to achieve your dreams?
Yeah, it's the process developed of making that decision that did happen very quickly, but coming to the point where I could make that decision probably was like a year long,
Wow. Okay.
because I did 2 years in Oregon for mechanical engineering. And at that point in time, I was really enjoying it. I was crushing it. I was getting straight A's in everything. And I really loved the study. But the second year, they start showing you what they called pro school and the internships and everything that was coming up for you to fulfill your degree, and gain the necessary qualifications to get a good job outside. And as I was looking at the internships coming around, I just was looking at the day to day, and it wasn't what I thought I would get involved in. I was really set on research and development for a motorcycle race team. That's what I wanted to do. Um, but the jobs just weren't what I thought they were. And so I was like, okay, well, that isn't gonna make me happy day to day. And at that point in time, I didn't know what I wanted my life to look like. So what I started doing was writing down what I didn't want my life to look like and putting down the things that I didn't enjoy and how, like, what kind of things I didn't want to do every single day. And that started building me a list that I could look at, and then just process of elimination kind of filter myself into a different area. So at that point in time, I didn't like Oregon because it rained every single day. And I like riding motorcycles and going out hiking, and I just don't want to do that in the rain. So one of my first decisions was, okay, I got to leave Oregon.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
came back down to Southern California and got into another college because I still didn't know what career would make me happy, but I still knew that I was analytical. So I went into kinesiology. And instead of working on the mechanics of a machine, I'm going to work on the mechanics of a human body. And so that's what I started there. But very quickly, again, as I was looking at the medical field path and the jobs in that, I knew it didn't suit my lifestyle again. And so after that, I just kept developing this list over time of things I didn't want out of life. And that started helping me define the common traits of what I was going towards, which was definitely finding freedom of time, freedom of location. And so that's when I realized that working for myself was the best opportunity to have that, and probably the only opportunity. So after having written this list over a year and identifying that freedom of time and location was one of the things that I valued the most, that would make me the most
Mm.
happy, it was very quick to make the decision that I'm dropping out, and pursuing something. So that's how, and it was tough too, because like you said, I only had a very short period of time left in college. And on the day I decided to leave, it was right towards the end of the year, and they were already setting up the graduation ceremony, staging and
Wow.
everything. So on my way, walking out of the college, I walked past that, and it felt very weird because it was so close. Um, and it was really making you wonder, like, am I doing the right thing? Should you stick it out just one more year to get the degree? But in my head, it was just postponing and gaining more debt. So I just wanted to get ahead of the time on figuring out the next move and avoid extra debt.
That's a critical moment. So many of us, we have that. There's that stigma of, hey, once you start something, finish it, right? Once you start something,
Yeah.
finish it. But if it's not getting you closer to what you want, if it doesn't light you up, I applaud you. And there are so many people out there who say, like at least this is something. I'll just finish it and see where it goes. I'm gonna go get a degree and 14th century poems and I probably can't go anywhere unless it lights you up. You need to pursue the things that light you up so that you can use your talents. So you discovered, number one, that you have a talent for systems. You have a very incredible talent, and from mechanical, then to the body, and then you were able to then transfer that into using your energy, using who you are, and then you were able to develop that into what we are seeing today that is taking the world by freaking storm, Sims Media. And so there are so many systems behind that, but you've been able to discover that. How does someone recognize that they are at a place where you were? Because I see so many people that just say, they're aimless. They don't know what they want. So you had the brilliant idea of, well, I don't know exactly what I want. So you wrote down what you don't want. And so many people would say, oh, that's negative. I can't think negatively. But that gave you your answers, because if you don't know exactly what you want, clearly writing down, I hate rain. How simple is that?
Mm-hmm.
I love to ride my bikes and I can't do it in the rain. What do you tell people if they don't recognize they're in that spot? What do they have to think of? What do they have to do in order to really determine, am I where I am? Am I where I want to be? Am I going towards where I want to be? What do you say to the person that may not know that they're on that path?
What my dad also had me do at one point in time, he always tells people to write down their perfect day. And so I even still have it in my drawer. And the thing about it is, you really take time to think, what does your perfect day look like from the second you wake up to the second you go to sleep? And what time do you wake up? It's really, really in depth to go and focus on what does your perfect day look like. And that would be your other kind of segue from the negativity of writing what you don't like. But it really does make you think, are you working in the right direction to achieve what that perfect day looks like?
Wow.
And so you'll be able to tell so many different things. If you want complete freedom of time, and you're in a position where you're the only work source to your clients, then you're not going to be able to gain that freedom of time, because you're bound to your clientele. So okay, I need to build a team. And so that starts helping you put the right pieces in place to build the business and the lifestyle that'll make you happy. So we write down our perfect day, and you update it, because like I said, you don't really know the perfect life that you want. It just kind of gets refined as you go. So I wrote down what I didn't like and was able to use that to filter the direction, kind of like the bumpers of a bowling alley. If they got tighter and tighter, you're going to hit the mark pretty good.
Yes.
And so that's what I did. I used those negatives of what I don't like in life as my bowling lane bumpers, and then started finding the things that I really do like, and then started putting thought into what my perfect day looks like. And then from there, now I've got a pretty good idea of the track that I'm going on, but something may pop up and you may realize that life, you want it to look a little different. And so then you just need to readjust and go in that direction. But having direction is super important. So being able to put those pieces in the beginning to set a direction, and then can constantly work on that, is incredibly important. Otherwise, like you said, it is just aimless.
You brought up some points I would love to talk about. How critical it is to have those stopping self checklists. Am I on path? It's like if you're traveling across country, hey, am I on the right? How many times do we drive and we're thinking about something like, oh, I just missed my exit. Oh, shoot. I got to reroute. I got to do this whole thing. So number one, do you believe you would be where you are today if you hadn't had those stop moments of stopping of stopping college twice? I mean, because some people would say, oh, man, I feel like I wasted my time. I don't think you feel it's a waste of time. I think you got through that. You had to go through those hardships in order to really laser focus. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I absolutely don't think it's a waste of time. And I've still got I was out of state tuition. So I've still got some good college debt behind me. But I still think it was worth it
Agreed.
because it showed me uh it gave me experience of a path that I didn't want to go down, which allowed me
Yes.
to change the path I'm on now.
Yes.
So I don't think it's a waste of time at all. I really enjoyed the experience. Like I liked what I was studying. I love learning. And so I was able to learn about something I was interested in. And I think a lot of the processes within mechanical engineering, I actually have been able to adopt into the world of business and
Genius.
see things from a different perspective. A lot of business owners and entrepreneurs are your stereotypical visionaries that lack a lot of that analytical and systems side of things, and so they're able to see this vision, this end goal, but a lot of the time they have a hard time putting things in place to achieve it. And so that's uh, that's where I think the schooling and that side of things helped me out a lot, was because I can put systems and people in place to make sure that things really still run smoothly, and look at data and look at all of that from an engineer's perspective.
What an incredible abundant mindset that you have with that, to say that, you are able to up, and when you really understand knowledge, when you really understand systems at their core, you can make them applicable in any conversation, in any system. You just have to change the dynamics, right? That's absolute genius to know that it wasn't a waste of time, that there were lessons learned that you continually apply. So now, let's talk about this. So right now, you are growing one of the largest ad agencies in the entire world. And it's incredible to see how you are using your skill set for this. So let's talk about that. So when someone is an analytical mind, when someone's a visionary and they have this incredible vision, you can only run as fast as your two legs and as fast as your fingers can type, right? That's linear growth in the business world. And you can only grow so much in your own abundance mindset with that when you're growing linearly. So let's talk about the two things that you've had to do in order to grow exponentially. So you've had to not only expand your vision, you've had to relinquish power, because there's no other Henry Sims out there. You're 1 in 8 billion. So tell us what it feels like to have your vision, but in order to achieve your vision faster, you have to bring on the right team and the right systems, and then grow your business and grow your mindset. Tell us what that looks like and how you are able to find the right people in the systems in order to make that happen.
Yeah, that is a very difficult process that does get personalized towards when you're talking about just the technicality of building a team. um, it is a very personal process to every business on how they do it and how they filter. We love using paid trials to be able to actually work with someone and get a sense of how we work together and the quality of the work, and have an opportunity to see where everything lies. And that is how we kind of really get right into it, to see whether or not we're going to work well together, and if they've got the same kind of mindset that we can work with. But the first step into realizing that you need a team, and or even if you just need to outsource, not necessarily building in your own in-house team, but maybe outsourcing to another agency or some other partners or contractors, it is very difficult to relinquish that control, like you said. And I had a very hard time with it in the beginning. And now that I get to see the growth rate, I'm kind of like, how fast can we hire? Because it is very tough. But when you realize it goes towards the ultimate goal and gets you there quicker, and gives you more time to do what you're really good at, then that's when you can adopt it. I think it's hard when entrepreneurs, being so multi-skilled and knowledgeable in so many areas of their business, sometimes they haven't quite honed in on defining where they're really great. And so it's kind of hard for them to know how much better their business could be if they were to only focus on that, and outsource the rest. And so there kind of comes that point where you need to personally think of, what do you enjoy the most and what are you really good at within your business? And then how do I outsource the rest? Because
Yes.
that assignment of roles, that balance is going to be great, because even though you're relinquishing stuff, you're actually really honing in and just going at a much stronger area that will grow you quicker.
That is so absolutely critical. What you just brought on is not only the mindset, but being able to stop and say, what do I really love? What do I love? What am I the best at? What lights me up? And there are some things that we have to do that we may not truly enjoy, but we know that it will bring us joy. But if you can find someone, if you say, hey, I really don't like stats. I'm horrible with stats. Hey, they're necessary. I guarantee that there's someone who's at 3 a.m. running stats and says, this is what lights me up. And if you could dish that away and then spend money, then you'll be able to spend more time on the things that bring you money and that bring you happiness. That is when you start to see just a fire lit up under companies, and you see them literally just ignite and go to the moon and back. That's a huge principle. Not only a lot of times people think that they're losing money. Like, oh, I got to pay to do this. I got to pay to do this. What do you say to those people who have that mindset of, I'm growing a business, I'm growing a brand, I'm growing a doctor's office, I'm growing a social media brand, I'm doing whatever. What do you say to the mindset of those? Having been there many times in your life and you're there in growth mode again, what do you say to them with that mindset of, I have to pay to get closer to where I am? What do you say?
I don't think, if I was to hear that, I would imagine that they haven't quite defined the end goal of where they want to grow to, because in my mind, it doesn't look scary. I'm happy to pay certain things out and bring on certain people because I know the steps that it's accomplishing towards that end goal. I've defined the end goal. I've defined the things that need to be put in place to achieve it. And so paying it out is quite all right. I'm paying towards the future. So in my
Wow.
mind, I don't see that hesitancy of like, damn, I have to pay for this. It makes sense. So that's
Yes.
when you map it out, it makes perfect sense. And at the same time, when it improves the quality of your day on what you're able to focus on and work, you're also happier. So you're paying towards your goal and you're paying to be happier. In my mind, I don't see a loss there.
I love that mindset. Like you just said, I love that mindset of, it's a privilege. I'm excited to be able to pay because the dividends are going to be coming on that backside. The most successful businesses and the most successful people in the world don't do it alone. They have teams. And that is something that is so important to understand, that you will be happier when you have someone else. I mean, imagine one thing that fulfills me is having a team that I know that I'm putting bread on their table. We just helped in part pay for their vacation. We just helped pay for the birth of their child. Like, that's fulfilling for me. But also knowing that I can focus on what lights me up and allows me to have happiness and joy and to be able to grow and scale faster than I ever could. I love being able to cut those checks. I love being able to cut bonuses because I know that we are closer to our destination than we ever have been by doing that. That's a powerful mindset. I love that. I absolutely love that. So tell us, what are some of the thoughts that people have to have? Because again, you're in growth mode. You guys have. I mean, I was going to say you guys have never been like a size 8. You guys have always been like a Shaquille O'Neal. You guys are like a size like 24 shoe, and now you're growing and growing. So how does someone adopt that vision? And I'm sure people have two conflicting thoughts. I have a vision, but once they hit that, you can kind of see businesses go stagnant, and then you start seeing burnout happen. What do you say to people who have a vision, and how do they continually know that they're moving towards their vision, but that when do they need to understand that vision may need to expand? What do you say to them?
There's a lot to unpack within that, especially person to person, but a lot of it, like the reason why we are in growth mode and consistently in growth mode and why we're able to charge so hard is because we've mapped out our perfect days. We know the life we want. We know what it'll take to have the life we want. So we know where we need the business to be to achieve exactly that. And so that end vision, we're able to constantly just work towards that. So, burnout is going to happen to everyone. We all get super tired, and it's especially when you are in growth mode, when you're attacking, you can only attack for so long, and then you need to reset. And for me, reset is through my adrenaline junkies activities, motorcycle racing and mountain biking and all this kind of stuff. I was just at the racetrack yesterday and took the day to go and race motorcycles to let myself recover so that I can get back to charging. So it's you need time to yourself, but also just having that perfectly defined end goal is what's really going to allow you to grow and work hard towards that growth, put the right things in place. I think a lot of issues stem from not having a defined enough outcome.
Yes. I love that you do that. So many people say, the worst thing an entrepreneur could ever say, or anyone on earth could say is, I'll sleep when I'm dead. I'll go race. I'll race in a few years. I'll get back to doing what lights me up. That's how burnout happens, is when you get off course. When you're finding yourself exhausted, you need to be able to rejuvenate and regenerate with the things that bring you happiness and joy. Like, if you didn't have to wake up tomorrow, what would you do? Well, I know you'd be doing what you do in your business, but I know you'd also take probably part of the day and go race and do that. That is so absolutely critical. Henry, thank you so much for teaching us how to grow and expand our vision and to define what it is that really lights us up. Thank you for teaching us that. How we get to perfection, how do we get to a perfect day, isn't a perfect path. You do have to go through tough stuff, but you can always learn lessons from what you have done. Thank you for teaching us these concepts. I am so excited to be on board with you guys. I'm excited for your future with Sims Media. You guys are absolutely everywhere right now, and I can't even imagine what the next year, let alone 10 years, are going to be. And with the people that you guys are changing lives through, not only on a big name level, but you guys are helping the people that bankroll countries. You guys are literally changing this world, and I'm honored to be with you here. Any last thoughts that when it comes to the voice in our heads, any last thoughts that you would love to share that has gotten you where you are as you sit here today?
All of the thoughts in my head have been doubt of perfection. And so if you deal with that same kind of thing of worrying of whether or not something's right, if it's good enough, that's just the journey. And you have to let go a bit and trust that things aren't going to be perfect always. And you've got time to consistently optimize and redo and work towards that end goal. So if you feel fear of doubt or messing up, that is just part of the journey. So there's a little bit of having to let that go and just move forward and change things as you go. That's what I had to learn. And it has allowed us to grow even faster because of that.
These are the lessons that really propel us forward. And when we have a vision of where we want to be, we look at someone and say, oh my gosh, look at where Henry and Steve are. Wow, I want to be there. Well, a lot of us want to take the amazing path. We want to sit with Andrea Bocelli. We want to sit with Elon Musk. We want to sit with Roland Frazier. We want to sit with Qasim and just listen at these great people who are teaching and growing the most lucrative businesses and strategies in the world. But you also have to go through the lessons you've learned and be able to find the lesson in everything. And like you said, you got time. There always is time. It is never wrong to make a right choice. It is never wrong to get on the path that you need to do. Thank you for teaching us that today. We are honored to be with you on this journey and to see the journey you're on. And I can't wait to see how the world is changed and transformed through your actions. Thank you so much, Henry.
Thank you.